Marianne, thanks for being willing to have the conversation.
That's
and
my pleasure.
For the record, is it okay to videotape this for teaching purposes in the
Yes,
future?
it is.
Okey-doke. Let's know about some things that you've been doing that have been enjoyable and pleasurable for you. Something that you haven't spoken about in the last couple of days if someone's asked you. Something different that you like to.
Oh, I have so few things
Oh, really?
that I really enjoy. I think Linda's heard them all.
Well, tell us about just one thing that you haven't spoken about yet that you enjoy.
Oh.
That you can speak about publicly.
Oh goodness, that I haven't spoken about. That makes it really difficult.
Oh well, I don't want to make things too easy for you.
I know. Oh look, I love going out to dinner with friends, and I have mentioned that, but not in a session.
Any particular kind of restaurant or circumstance? Or what?
Look, I love Asian food.
Right.
Love Thai food, Japanese.
Okay.
And as I'm thinking about it, because tonight I may be going out, and I'm excited that we might try a new restaurant.
Okay.
And haven't done a lot of that lately.
Do you know what the restaurant is, or?
No, my friend lives in Fitzroy, so we're going to go somewhere around there.
That your friend will choose?
She'll choose. Yeah, she knows all the restaurants around there. So
you don't know whether it'll be this.
That makes it even better.
Okay, you like not knowing.
I do like not knowing. I like trying something new when I go to a restaurant. I like that it's social.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a nice atmosphere.
Yeah. And when you go out socially like that, you go out to a restaurant, what's your experience? Do you normally come away from the restaurant with
I feel calm.
Calm?
Yeah.
And as far as eating is concerned, do you eat not enough, too much? Or?
I've rarely come away hungry from a restaurant.
Right.
Because I do try and have the requisite number of courses, 3.
Okay.
More if there's more on offer. I love banquets.
Okay.
And being a fast eater, I get more than everyone else.
Okay. So get your money's worth, eh?
Always. And it's that question of money we were talking about earlier. It's not even the money, it's that, put your head down and just keep eating. Conversation happens around it.
Okay. So you're willing to put up with a little bit of interruption for your
just
eating.
a little bit. But yeah, I like the whole atmosphere. I like that
there's a
people
balance
chat.
somehow between eating
and... yes. I'm not one to go slowly.
No.
That takes priority.
Okay.
Then we can chat.
Okay. So you get the food over and done with, then you can...
Yes, yes.
Is that what tends to happen? Do you kind of get into the food and then...
Well, I have to order. I can't relax till we've ordered, and then I can pay full attention to who I'm with.
Okay,
but
before the food arrives, even?
No, I'm fine once I'm ordered. Then once I've ordered, and then I can pay the company attention. But prior to ordering, no, I just want that out of the way.
Okay. Now, when you order, and that's out of the way, and then you can pay attention to the conversation and get into that and enjoy that. Then the food arrives, what do? You just say, shut up, I'm going to eat?
No, I managed to do both.
You managed to do both?
Yes.
And you always eat everything on your plate?
No, not always.
No?
No. If don't particularly like something, I'll leave it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But what is that like for you to not...
Look, that's okay if I don't like it. If I really like it, and even if I'm full, I'll keep eating.
Okay.
Yeah. But, if something, I don't really like, I have to dislike it to stop eating it, actually.
So what is it to dislike something? What is it to like something? What is the
too
taste
fatty?
or
if they're too greasy, too fatty,
yeah.
I'll leave that.
Okay.
Sometimes if it's too rich, I don't like cream-based food.
Okay. So if there's too fatty, too creamy, too rich, then
I leave it.
You're quite happy to leave that.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. And what sort of food do you like that it's hard for you to leave?
Look, there are a few Asian dishes I don't like, and not that I've tried all of them, but I do. They're spicy. They've got a lot of flavour. I like their use of vegetables, meats, noodles, rice.
And sushi? You like sushi? Sashimi?
I do. I love all those. I've tried making it too, but it's not quite the same.
And how do you go with with eating that? Is there any end to that? Or?
Oh, there is.
Yeah?
Yes, there is. I find I can't eat too much of that.
What is it? Because that's not fatty.
No, but it feels heavy after a while.
Oh, okay. And you're pointing to your stomach when you say?
Yeah, I can really feel when I've had enough of that.
Okay, now, is there anything else that you might want to say before you go into hypnosis?
No, not really.
And if you were to be able to order something as a hypnotic menu, what would you like to order? What could you enjoy?
I'd like to stop eating and recognise when I've had enough with other foods outside of the restaurant.
And again, you're pointing to your stomach when you
Well, that overfull feeling, and I ignore it and keep eating. And it's usually with quite plain food, pasta, bread, biscuits.
Okay, you can get more of that down than the spicy.
Yes, because it's not rich. It's not.
Oh, yeah.
I don't find it as heavy, but.
But even sashimi and sushi can be quite plain.
Yeah, but can't eat too much of that.
No.
Maybe it's at home. I'm so used to bread and pasta and biscuits that I don't even see them anymore. I just ladle up the bowl or take out the biscuits.
Like putting your head in the
yes, it
trough,
is. Oh, that's a horrible image, but yes, it is. Yeah. And just one more thing. I remember last year when we spoke about after dinner being an issue, and that seems to have really, I don't do that as much.
Okay.
But what I'm doing now is meal times are bigger.
Ah, right.
Yeah, so I'm not having as much, still have something after dinner, but meals have stretched.
Okay.
Really stretched sometimes.
Okay. Okay, it looks like you've had enough of the talking. Somehow you get in touch with some feeling, some recognition. Yeah. To know to stop the talking and allow the next part of the next course to come along. We've had the entree. It's the main course now. And as you're looking at that experience, going into hypnosis, going into your own experience, it might be nice to quite quickly take an inventory of your body to notice your feet. And just notice how your legs feel. Be aware of your hands, your arms. Notice your stomach. And even perhaps take a moment to notice what it's like to breathe. To notice the movement of your chest as you breathe in and breathe out. To perhaps be aware of your face. You could even notice your mouth. Be aware of your teeth, your tongue. Perhaps notice the roof of your mouth, back of your throat. There may be something about the awareness of your mouth, the awareness of your throat, something about the awareness of your sensations in your stomach that you could just be aware of and notice. And you've spoken with Linda and with others about things that you like to do. And you could review those things and see how it was in those experiences that you learned how to stop, you learned how to recognize when enough was enough. And you probably wouldn't be interested to try and remember that when you were learning to draw a circle as all go. Once you could get that line to join up with itself, it was easy to just go round and 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 round before you even called it an O, but you could go round. And maybe even just keep going round till you've actually made a hole in the paper. But somehow you learned how to stop that. You learned how to stop after a few, or maybe even you learned how to stop after one. And then later on, you could start that same line and stop before you even completed that circle. Pretty soon you learnt that was how you made a C. And when you make the letter C now, you don't need to think. You don't even need to be aware that you are stopping that line so that it's not an O. But you just stop it and it feels right and you know it's right, and then you move on to the next letter, whatever that might be. And when you were talking before, I was reminded of a comment that Erickson made that I've made use of a number of times. And the comment was that when someone came to see him wanting to change their eating, he said he liked to ask them to imagine as vividly as possible, to imagine that they had attained the weight, the body shape they wanted. And to imagine they were like that, they arrived at that. And then to imagine that they were like that, stuffing their face. And on a number of occasions I've asked someone to imagine that their body was how they wanted it to be, and to imagine that they were sitting in front of a table, different kinds of food, and starting to stuff that food in with their hands. A handful of rice, a handful of bread, a handful of pasta, stuffing it into their mouth, stuffing it in faster than they could swallow it, so that that food starts to fall down all around them, onto their lap and onto the table. And they're still stuffing the food in with one hand, then the other, or perhaps both hands. Handfuls of pasta, handfuls of rice, handfuls of sushi, handfuls of bread, stuffing it in, and the food is accumulating in piles on their lap, on the floor around them, table around them, and they still keep stuffing that food into their mouth faster than they can swallow it. And I think it's a very interesting image. Because when you were speaking before about a large bowl, I had an image of you sitting in front of a large bowl and actually having your hands behind your back. And really getting into that food by putting your head in the bowl. And really getting eating up that pasta, really getting into that bread and really stuffing it in. And of course some of it, as you try and get it into your mouth, will fall out of your mouth and be back in the bowl again. And you'll be trying to eat some stuff that it's already been in your mouth and it's fallen out and you're trying to eat it again. But that was just the idea that I had. And it was somehow a combination of remembering what Erickson had said and also noticing the way our dog eats. I just wonder what your response is when you think about going home tonight and there's bread there and there's pasta there and all kinds of stuff, and you can just really roll up your sleeves and go into it.
Oh, God.
How does that seem?
Oh, I feel ill.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Really?
oh. And I can see myself at the table doing that. And there are people, strangers, looking at me just aghast. And that image of me cramming it in.
We saw a television program not that long ago, set in Japan, where they have eating competitions.
Yeah.
And there was one fellow there, his nickname was Tsunami. And when he was getting into training, he would go out and to a sushi bar. And he would eat as much sushi as the rest of the restaurant put together. He would just shovel that stuff in like you wouldn't believe. It was amazing to see how many pieces that he could just stuff into it. And they called him Tsunami because he could swallow, and he won the world championship. He could just get that much.
I can see him.
Yeah, it was an amazing sight. Amazing. And I don't know what it would be like for you to also imagine that you're sitting in front of a bowl of pasta and to see that it's plain, that to have some kind of idea that there's chicken fat in there somewhere. That just somewhere, you can't quite see it, but there's some sort of greasy kind of congealed somewhere under that. Just don't know whether you can, you can't see it.
Oh, I can see it.
Can?
Just now.
Oh, okay. Well, now, if you were to put that aside, because it's really rather an unpleasant kind of notion, and instead of that, imagine. I mean, you could have that experience. But instead of that, I wonder how it would be for you to go out to that restaurant tonight. And as well as enjoying the food, and as well as enjoying the conversation with the other people there, there'll be more than one other person there. I wonder if you could also enjoy having a conversation with your stomach. And just wondering what your stomach might have to say to you, and what you might have to say to it, and how you might enjoy its company. And any time you ignore it, it might want to let you know, like one of the friends might say, you haven't spoken to me. Or there's something I need to tell you. You could imagine that, I imagine. And you could go out to that restaurant and really enjoy that conversation. You think that's possible?
Yeah.
And maybe even at home. To enjoy listening to what your stomach has to say and enjoying its company. By noticing that it's there, listening to what it has to say, and appreciating its friendship, its company. And is there any sadness about that?
No.
No?
No. Sounds clean.
Clean?
Those other images were...
Didn't like them?
Oh, no.
Oh well, they're there if you need them. They're there if you need them. And if you get too large a bowl, then you could always have that idea, putting your hands behind your back and really get it. Don't waste your time with cutlery,
Well, I've got that in.
Get into that chicken fat.
Oh, dear. If I'm anorexic in a week, you'll know why.
Yeah, you don't like that. You'd rather just enjoy the company of your stomach.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to imagine that your stomach could speak to you now, what does it think about that idea?
Oh, soothed. Feel soothed.
Soothed? And will it let you know if it wants some food?
Oh, yes.
Yes? Okay. And will you listen to it?
Yes.
And will it tell you when it's had enough?
Yes, it will tell me.
And will you listen to it?
Yes.
And if it says, I like that food, but I don't like any more than I like it, will you listen to that?
Yes.
Now, what if your eyes say, I like the look of that food, and your stomach says, I've had enough of that food? Because you take your eyes with you, you take your stomach with you, and what if your mouth has, and your taste buds? So they're all at the table with you. How do you listen to all of them? How do you speak with all of them? How do you enjoy all their company? How do you do that?
I think I need to pause.
Okay, well, you can do things quickly, so you can even pause quickly. Don't need to spend a long time doing that.
No, I've not really paused
Oh,
and listened to my stomach.
oh okay. But you don't have to pause for 3/4 of an hour.
No,
No.
split second.
Split second, you can do it very quickly.
Oh, yes.
And just as you can go out tonight and there'll be more than one person there, there'll be what? 4
Three.
people?
2 others.
2 others? Yeah, so you can enjoy the conversation between the 3 of you. So you can enjoy a conversation between you and your eyes and your mouth and your stomach. You can let that happen, can't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when you think of doing that, and you think about pausing, and maybe listening to what your eyes say, your mouth says, your stomach says, you think about pausing, listening to that and pausing. What is it about that that is different from what you've done before?
Oh, my eyes lead. I see it and my hand follows.
Okay.
And I don't pause.
You don't pause?
I don't. I don't pause to make a decision.
Ah, so
Yes,
it's like see, do.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you go to the restaurant tonight, you don't know what it'll be, but you'll find out when you get there. I imagine it'll have a menu. So you'll be looking with your eyes at the menu. And there'll be more than one dish on the menu. So your eyes will see not only the names, but it will see something of the food. Yeah. So how do you allow your eyes to see all of that food and for you to say, I'm going to have that, not that, not that, not that, not that, because you don't have so much. There's a lot
That's right.
that you see and you say no to, you don't have. How do you do that?
How do I read it?
Having read it, having seen it, having seen all that food.
How do I make a selection?
Yeah, and the selection to have something is also the selection to not have so much. So how do you not select all of that food? How do you stop all of that food? How come you don't say, I'll have all of it? You see the meaning of life?
Yes. Yep. A little bit more.
Just a little bit, sir. Just a little bit. Oh,
I know.
Oh.
I know.
So, but you don't say, oh,
No.
you say, that.
I do, and it's usually something I haven't tried before.
Ah.
Something new.
Okay, and having a pause is also something new.
It is. Yes.
And you might enjoy that.
I think my stomach would.
Yeah, and maybe your eyes would also.
Yeah.
Because once you've eaten that food, all that your eyes get to look at is an empty plate.
Mm. Yeah.
But if you pause, your eyes get to look at that.
Mm.
Just that little bit longer.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, what is it about this that's different? You've done other different things. What is it about this that's going to work for you?
I have images I don't like. And I felt really heavy and repulsed before. And the pause this time, I think those images might be part of it.
Okay. Right. So, John Cleese could be in the background.
Oh.
Quick, throw a bucket. Yeah, you don't want a bucket. No, you can just have that pause. And maybe even in that pause, just very, very quickly savour.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how's that feeling to you?
A bit sad.
Yeah. What's this? What's the something that you're saying goodbye to?
A little bit,
Yeah.
and I'm just thinking of the years that I haven't paused.
I could think of all of the years, 17 about, that I didn't like Brussels sprouts. All those wasted Brussels sprouts that I could have enjoyed but didn't.
That's right.
And there is some sadness when you recognise that.
Yeah.
And the sadness is an indication of some emotional connection. Not just an idea, but an actual emotional experience that's somehow connecting with you. Maybe at a gut level. Somewhere.
Yeah.
And I can only say from my point of view that I'm glad that you're feeling that sadness, and I can only hope that it's okay for you.
It is.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yeah. No, it feels kind.
Because as we explored last year, sadness is very closely related to peace.
Yeah.
So you can be peaceful and accept. Yeah. And there is some kindness there.
Oh, yes.
There have been times in the past when your eyes have been cruel. There have been times in the past when your eyes have shown you things that you've criticised in other people. In a way that's been problematic to you and challenging for others. But when you allow yourself to look with that sense of kindness, you get to see not just some kind of judgment, but when you look with kind eyes, you see something much richer, much fuller, much more complete, much more satisfying. And you spoke about your